Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse podcast. This is episode number 383. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, hi.
How's it going?
Not well.
Oh, no. Sorry to hear that.
It's the thing.
Yeah, it's a tough...
It's life now.
It's tough, you know? It's just tough.
It's so bizarre and awful.
Well,
I hate it.
fortunately, the car show has ended here, so none of the loud car noises anymore. You know, it went and... It felt like it was never going to end. It felt like it was never going to end. And they ran through my yard, too.
Ended up moving there. Nice.
Yeah,
I knew that was going to happen.
They drove through my yard.
Did you burn out something?
No. Fortunately, they didn't, but our neighbor sent us a message and was like, hey, I'm putting up stakes around the property. Do you want me to, put stakes around yours, too? They drove through our yards last night. And I was like, what the All right.
There's a comedy for you. Make that movie. You decide, there's a pandemic move. You decide to move from New York to Mississippi, and then you get there and there's just a perpetual car show on your property forever.
It's like that.
The entire length of the pandemic.
It's like that comedy Neighbors, starring Seth Rogen, where the frat goes next door. Classic comedy Neighbors.
That's right.
This week on the show, we'll be talking about Jim Cummings' latest, The Wolf of Snow Hollow. We'll also be going over some watching on the watch list and new releases on VOD and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't really have any housekeeping bits. We are in the process of prepping our Halloween specials for both this show and Saved by the 90s, and I'm very excited because we have some lineups, we have some themes, and we have a bunch of movies to watch, so very excited for that, so stay tuned. Those are always my favorite. The Halloween specials on both podcasts are always my favorite.
Well, yeah, you get to watch a bunch of horror.
Yeah, I'm pretty amped up about this year. I think the themes. I think the themes for this year are really good too.
I think the only thing that could come close to it is if you had once a year did a special about like rock docs on punk.
Okay. Well, I told my wife about that one that's coming out this week, that White Riot. I almost said Quiet Riot. White Riot, and she's like, "How is it that you seem to find these punk music documentaries like every week? There's a new one, and you watch it."
I love it.
Let's talk about The Wolf of Snow Hollow. I have a synopsis here. As I said, this is written and directed and starring Jim Cummings. Terror grips a small mountain town as bodies are discovered after each full moon. Losing sleep, raising a teenage daughter, and caring for his ailing father, Officer Marshall struggles to remind himself there's no such thing as werewolves. This recently screened as part of Fantastic Fest, and I believe that it had its world premiere at Beyond Fest this week. So lots of exciting premieres for this. And now it's on VOD, so you can rent this on Amazon or wherever your preferred VOD platform is. Now, I have a review for this up on the site. I think that I've made it known several times on this show and on the website that I'm a huge fan of Jim Cummings. I loved Thunder Road. The thing about Thunder Road was, like, I had no idea really what it was going into it. I didn't see the short film, so it was completely new to me. And after I saw Thunder Road, I was just like blown away. I was like, this is a revelation. It ended up on my top 10 that year. So, big fan of his. I have a review up on the site, so we'll start it with you, Kevin. What are your initial impressions of The Wolf of Snow Hollow?
Before I get into that, I still can't believe I have not seen Thunder Road. Because I did see the short film, like back when it came out. I think it was on like No Budge or something. And I loved it. I loved that short film. But for some reason, I still have not watched the full length, or the feature length.
I definitely need to get on it. Definitely
need to get on it. I don't know. Maybe just because I've seen the short film, so I'm like, hey, you don't have to build on that. But, you know, getting to the Wolf of Snow Hollow here, I was a little bit slightly disappointed. It's not really the movie's fault. This was more so of me being like, you know what? I could go for a comedy, like a slight comedy with some werewolves. And I thought it was going to be more on the werewolves because of the title would lead you to believe that, this is Chock-a-Block werewolves or something, or just at least more action with the werewolves. But this is more so just about a cop that's like a piece of shit, and it's just that for much of the film, it's just him being an asshole to people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I mean, it does a decent job of that. I'll give it that. It's just I guess again, it's I don't know why I keep doing this with movies, making these expectations. I don't know how to watch movies anymore. I think that's
You
my
lost
problem.
it. You just lost it.
I don't know what to do anymore. It's just, it's just like I'm putting too much into things, into like art and media. Like it's too much. Like I want them to be things because like I need like comfort or something, or just like an escape, and then they don't offer me that fault.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just coming back to that, I don't think I know how to watch movies anymore.
Yeah, I mean, uh, so it is sort of a genre mashup. There's a lot of comedy elements in it. There are horror elements. There's mystery elements. It has a little bit of I would say maybe like a Fargo, like a Coen Brothers vibe to it, and there's a certain mystery aspect of it too. People are ending up dead. People are being brutally murdered by this supposed werewolf, and these sort of this sheriff's department is trying to figure out what's going on. They're clearly out of their league, and then you have Robert Forster, who this is his final role, unfortunately, but he plays the sheriff. His health is beginning to fail, so he's not really able to take point. So his son, played by Jim Cummings, John is his name, John Marshall, is sort of taking the lead on this. And like you said, like he's not a super likable character, but I find him to be incredibly funny. If you've seen Thunder Road, he's very similar to his character in Thunder Road, where he plays this sort of tortured cop who the stresses of life are just bearing down on him so hard that the whole movie is just him systematically breaking down. Like his emotions just continue to break down further and further until, he gets to his final breaking point and hits rock bottom. And I love the way that Jim Cummings handles people in turmoil like that. Like I find it to be like it's pathetic. Like his characters are often pathetic, but they're also like it's also funny. It's like an awkward comedy, but also kind of sad too. So I really love how he handles his characters, and I think that you have a lot of really interesting, colorful characters in this. Ricky Lindholm is in here too. She plays one of the sheriff's deputies, and she's really the only one who is actually able to do like serious detective work. Everyone else is so incompetent that she's the only one actually doing anything.
Yeah.
So anyway, I really enjoyed this. I really liked the nice blend of comedy and horror. I thought that the whole mystery aspect of it as to like who the werewolf was, I thought was very, very surface level, and I felt like they could have gone a lot deeper with the mystery aspect of it. Like that was the biggest letdown for me, was how it all turned out as far as that, because it's set up to be this sort of, it's just set up to be a lot more involved than what it turns out to be.
I think that's what disappointed me a little bit, because it starts off relatively well with the mystery, and as the victims, begin to pile up, it seems like it's fully invested in that, and that's where the main focus is going to be. But then it does that shift, and it goes down that different avenue, which is him just being stressed out and yelling at people, mostly just screaming at people to do their job, and being an asshole, which I didn't mind, but I just thought that kind of overtook, because it really felt like that took the main focus. We really didn't do anything with the werewolf until the end, and then we just kind of wrapped it up a little bit. I maybe just like a more of a balance there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have been fully on board.
I think it's
But
real.
I mean, as it stands, I still enjoyed the movie. I think the best thing here is the script. It's quick,
Mm-hmm.
it's snappy. This movie has a nice pace to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the dialogue, all the dialogue. This is a very quotable movie. I think Thunder Road, you can say the same thing where, there's certain lines in this that I think you could easily just recite over and over again that are just so funny and so witty, and I really loved all of that. I think that a movie like this that straddles so many genres and has so many different elements in it, I think it's tough to balance all of that. And I think for the most part, it does a decent job of balancing it. Certainly I think that the horror and the comedy, there's not a situation where one overtakes the other. I think maybe it leans a little bit more on the comedy side, or even like the sort of a dark comedy side, where maybe not everybody finds this man's emotions being dismantled is funny, but I found it to be funny. So I think that leans a little bit more into that territory than the horror, but when there is, a sizable amount of people getting ripped apart by a werewolf in this. So
Yeah.
I think it does a pretty
Definitely
decent
does have
job of balancing that. Again, I'll just reiterate, I think that the mystery layer is where it is a little bit lacking. Fortunately for me, the other elements sort of made up for that lack of mystery. And although I was a little bit bummed where it went and how they wrapped that stuff up, the actual like finale, like what it turns out to be, I found to be kind of refreshing. Like I liked the climax and where it went, even though I didn't feel like how they got there was necessarily compelling. The way that it turned out, I thought was.
Yeah. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the ending where they ended up. But I agree with you. The way that they got there felt a little, kind of like an afterthought thrown together. I think the thing that gets me too is like with the focus of Jim Cummings, his Officer Marshall, breaking down and just being stressed out by not a whole lot. Like it doesn't seem like he had a lot of stress in his life. He just seems like a just even the smallest bit of him having to do something.
him having to do his job.
Just like
well,
like all of a sudden it was the whole world was on his shoulders, which I did appreciate how he kind of created that character where this police officer is he's just awful person, just terrible. But the comedy aspects, I did enjoy them occasionally, but I think that this is something that I don't know if I've kind of like outgrown, or maybe like years ago I would have really been into, is that like mean-spirited comedy. Because again, most of the comedy just comes from him being like really awful to people.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I thought that it was mean-spirited. I mean, I guess I can see that, like him just being a dick, but
it's extremely mean-spirited.
I don't know. Like for whatever reason, I just didn't see that.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. He was a dick, but I guess maybe I felt some sort of sympathy for him, which sort of diluted that. Like, this is a guy who's just struggling in every avenue of his life. I mean, he's a recovering alcoholic, so that's always a struggle. Then he is dealing with the stress of his job, which, this is a it takes place in a really small town, a small like mountain town, and they don't have murders there, so this is like a whole new thing. And he's trying to become sheriff, and he's trying to care for his dad, and he's trying to deal with his ex-wife and his daughter who's getting ready to go off to college, and just the weight of the world is like just crushing him. And I think that's where the sort of pathetic comedy comes into it. And yeah, I don't know if I found the comedy overall to be mean spirited. I mean, he's a dick, but
I do love the location of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
The whole setting of this movie is fantastic.
I
think that really helps.
I agree. I liked it too. I liked the little town a lot. I love the scenes. I love movies that take place in these small like mountain communities where like everybody frequents the same diner, and everybody knows everybody else. I love movies that have that setting. And I really liked the editing in this too. I thought that the editing was quite good. And I liked that every time there was a victim, he spent an ample amount of time with that victim, setting it up. Like, it wasn't just some like, nameless face that got killed. It wasn't just like a random person who we don't have any kind of connection to. Like, he actually spent time setting up this character and allowing us to know them a little bit before they get killed. And it added a lot of weight to the death. Like, it wasn't just a throwaway scene that allowed for, gave us an excuse to move the story along and give us a little bit of horror or gore or whatever. I really liked how they established that, like the couple at the beginning and the skier and all of that stuff. I thought that was a really good idea.
And I'm glad you brought up the editing, because I would have forgot to mention that. But I thoroughly enjoyed the editing of this movie.
Yeah, I thought it was just really well done.
Yeah, the way it cuts back, back and forth, done really, really well.
Yeah, this is definitely a movie that I could see myself coming back to, rewatching, and just enjoying it all over. I mean, Thunder Road was the same way. I watched Thunder Road several times, and that's a movie that I can really enjoy. Comparing the two, again, like if you liked Thunder Road, if you liked the character that Jim Cummings played in Thunder Road, then this is essentially the same character. They're dealing with many of the same things. The reasons behind the stress may be different, but the outcome is essentially the same. It's both movies have a police officer who is on the verge of a nervous breakdown, essentially.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how Thunder Road is. It's very, very similar, which, I don't look at that as a negative. Like, I'm perfectly fine with that. I could use more of that. And I can't wait to see what Jim Cummings has in store for us next, because I think he's a very, very talented, multi-talented performer.
And the thing that I kind of forgot that this movie brought back to me is that I forgot that he was like a part of that Ornata collective with Danny Madden, which is just wild to me. I don't know why, but just a filmmaker from the Ornata collective being relatively big, because it seems like he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's a phenomenal actor. Like, even if he decided to do more like acting roles, I mean, I think that when you see him in Thunder Road, like, you're just like, holy shit, this guy is the real deal. Like, the way that he's able to express extreme emotion, like, just on a dime, just able to swap and change his emotion like that. Like, I think that he's just very, very talented. And I hope to see him making more movies, in more movies. Like, I just want to see more of him.
You just need more Jim Cummings in your movie diet.
Yeah. Oh,
What you're looking for.
I was just looking at his IMDb and I see that he was a production assistant for Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It looks like he was a PA for Industrial Light and Magic.
How about that?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Very interesting. What do we have here next? Oh, it looks like his next movie's already been announced. It's called The Beta Test.
What he's making?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it looks like he's starring in it too. Or at least he is in it.
Is he playing a cop?
I hope so. It seems to be. It seems to be. I mean, I doubt it. I bet he probably doesn't want to like pigeonhole himself into that type of role.
It would be very interesting to see that happen. Is that he, becomes typecast into the role of a police officer that's kind of like a shitty person, but that he's the one that's facilitating that pigeonholing. Like, has that been done before?
Maybe
when you typecast yourself over and over again.
I don't know. Maybe something tells me with his next movie, he's not going to be a cop, though. I just have a feeling he's not going to do that again.
I hope not.
All right. Any final thoughts on The Wolf of Snow Hollow?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. This was really, really a joy to watch for me. In my review, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Kevin, what are you thinking on The Wolf of Snow Hollow out of 10?
Yeah, I'll give it like a 6.5, 7.
Well, there you go. Solid recommendation. Again, that is on VOD right now, so check it out. Perfect Halloween movie to get into the Halloween spirit.
I keep thinking of something from this movie that makes me laugh a lot, which is just can you stand to your normal height, please? Or to your full height? I don't know why. But just the delivery of that line.
Yeah.
You could stand to your full height, please.
There were a lot of lines in this that just made me laugh. Him asking the guy to take a hacksaw to the payphone and just do your job. Just love it. Love it. All right, let's talk about some more I'm watching. I think it's my turn this week. I started the week off with David Byrne's American Utopia. This is part of the New York Film Festival. This comes out on HBO Max, I believe, next week. I think like Saturday or Sunday, Friday, somewhere around there. But it's coming out very soon.
Okay.
This is the filmed version of David Byrne's Broadway show. This is directed by Spike Lee. And I don't typically like concert documentaries, and this is a Broadway show, so it's a little bit different. I guess I could say the same thing about recorded Broadway shows, just not super into them. But I really loved Stop Making Sense, which was the Talking Heads documentary, and I liked the music of David Byrne, so I was kind of interested in this. And then plus you have the direction by Spike Lee, so I was like, all right, yeah, sign me up. And
it's a lot of positive things.
Yeah, and I loved it. It was this is a really tremendous experience. Like, I think it's the only movie this year that actually made me tear up. That might be a lie. There might have been a couple other ones, but this one definitely evokes a lot of emotion. Really, really powerful show, and the way I think that Spike Lee coming into it added a lot to the visuals. I think that it was a pretty good idea to bring in. I think it was David Byrne's idea. I think he approached Spike Lee and was like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And Spike Lee was like, "Hell yeah!" So, really good idea. highly recommend it. Even if you're not a huge fan of the Talking Heads or David Byrne's solo stuff, I think that you will still get a lot out of it. And I mean, the performances are incredible. Like, the talent on stage is just, I can't recommend it highly enough. I mean, I'm at sort of a loss for words on just how much I loved it. So it's one of these like it's one of these like feel good movies that it makes you feel like there's still good in the world, and that we can sort of recover from this slump that we're in, this horrible nightmare that we're living. Like, there's still hope. And I think that that's one of the big takeaways from this show, is that, like, even though we're at a very dark hour, there's still a light at the end of the tunnel. There's still something to hold on to. And I think that it's kind of interesting that, like, David Byrne does get very political in this show, and he does make sure that we all are aware of the horrible, atrocities that are happening in this country, but he does so in a respectful yet still sort of hopeful way, where we can where he's acknowledging that yes, there's a lot of work to do, but we can do it together. And I think that it's just a really incredible experience. I think, contrasting this to Stop Making Sense, I think Jonathan Demme, he shot like a pretty standard concert film. Like, Jonathan Demme was very matter of fact. Like, it was a pretty standard, the thing that makes Stop Making Sense incredible is the performance and the show itself. Whereas with American Utopia, you can see like Spike Lee's sort of signature on it, the way that he used 11 cameras for this show. So there's like cameras everywhere. There's like, lots of really crazy like zoom ins and stuff. It's just really, really good. And I highly, highly recommend it.
Excited.
Are you like, I don't, are you into the Talking Heads? Are you into David Byrne's stuff?
Fucking obsessed.
Oh, okay, cool.
Love him.
I specifically did not listen to the American Utopia album because I wanted to go into this like as cold as possible. Like, I didn't want to know like all the songs going into it. Yeah. So that was sort of one of the exciting things for me. Like, and he does play a lot of Talking Heads songs in this. Not a lot, but several Talking Heads songs. The biggies are in this.
Yeah.
And the versions that he does, and plus, it should be noted that this is all performed live. So this isn't like pre-recorded. It's not playback. It's not ad-libbed, dubbed. It's all performed live. And but the crazy thing is it sounds like it is playback because they're so good. You're just like, damn, like it sounds like it's a recording, but it's not. It's just incredible.
He's been doing it for so long.
I mean, I think like that goes to the other performers in his band too, because I mean, there's very complex instrumentation happening here, like a lot of different instruments being used, and they're like everything's wireless. So you have like the guitarist, the bass player, and they have wireless packs, so they're able to take part in the choreography too, like while they're playing. It's just I can't recommend it highly enough. I just talking about it, I just want to watch it again and experience it again. It's so good.
It's always a good sign.
Yeah,
it's always a good sign.
Yep.
When you're talking about it, you just want to stop talking about it and watch it again.
Absolutely.
Which is not going to happen with the movie I'm going to talk about, which is The Comedy of Terrors from 1963, directed by Jacques Tourneur, which I did not know going in. I didn't know that he was the director. But this has a stacked cast. All right, you got Vincent Price as the main character, Peter Lorre, Boris Karloff, Basil Rathbone. They're like titans in this movie, right? And this is like as you can tell from the title, it's kind of a hard comedy. And it's okay. It's kind of mediocre. I mean, really, what you're here for is the cast, and rightly so, because Vincent Price. What Vincent Price does in this movie, one is he's really hammy. He's having a ball, right? And the character that he plays, he's an undertaker. He runs his funeral parlor, and he's drunk all the time. He just wants to drink. That's all he wants to do. And business isn't good, so he starts killing people in order to get business up and running. So mostly just so he can buy booze. And he hates everyone. So all this movie is, for the most part, is Vincent Price being really hammy, drunk, and just very eloquently uh, telling people off. Like he hates everyone. But of course, he does it with a very flowery language. The high end stuff from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't your dime store stuff that you got nowadays. This is thespian takedown.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, if you're interested in that for like 84 minutes, yeah, you should watch it. And it's got a great cat. There's a great cat in this movie,
Oh, nice.
which I found out is like a very, very famous cat. It's been in a lot of movies. So now I gotta go down that wormhole.
Gotta check out that cat's filmography.
Yeah, apparently this cat was a big deal. It had a movie. It was just he was the star.
You don't see famous animals anymore. Like back in the day, like Benji and Lassie, like they were famous animals.
Yeah.
But
Not anymore.
now you don't really have, like, the Fraser dog maybe was pretty famous for a while.
Yeah. But now it's like humans don't want to share the spotlight with anybody.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
Selfish pricks.
All right. And that is Comedy of Terrors. I covered the Night Stream Film Festival this weekend. It's a sort of a collaboration between a lot of different genre film festivals across the country. They're like sort of the mid-tier festivals. They got together and presented this weekend of fun and frights. A really impressive lineup, actually. The opening night film was called Run, which is directed by Anish Chaganty. This is the guy who did Searching, which came out, I think, in 2018. If you remember that one, it was the one with John Cho, and it was the Screen Life one, the one that took place on a computer screen.
Yeah.
I really liked it. It was really good. This one is okay. This is more of a conventional thriller. There's no computer screen stuff going on in this one, but it's about a teenager she's in a wheelchair. She has had a lot of health problems because she was born very, very premature. So she's got tons of health issues. And Sarah Paulson plays her mom, and the young woman played by Kira Allen. She discovers that her mom might be poisoning her. So we might be dealing with a Munchausen's by proxy situation here. It's not called that anymore, by the way. It's called
Oh, really?
No, it's not called it anymore. It's called fictitious. What's it called? Sorry, I want to get this right because I don't want to.
Fictitious disorder imposed on another.
Yes, that's it.
FDIA.
Fictitious disorder imposed on another. That's what it's called. So she believes that her mom may be suffering from that. So it starts off as sort of a mystery thriller where she's trying to not only not let on to her mom that she made this revelation, but also like try to protect herself and then gather more information about what her mom is doing. And first of all, I want to say the casting of Kira Allen, she does an incredible job in this, and the fact that the filmmakers decided that they wanted to cast someone who is in a wheelchair in real life in the role, I think that added so much to it. And I think that this is a movie that Ryan should absolutely see because I think that it it really does a great job in representing people with
Yeah.
disabilities. In fact, it might be the only movie I've ever seen where the lead actor is in a wheelchair in the movie and then also in real life. Like that just never happens. So
Yeah, it's very rare.
yeah. So major props to them, because not only did they do the right thing in the casting choice, but she's incredible in it. Like she this is her first role. Apparently she's done some theater work before this, but I mean she just kills it. She's so good in this. Same with Sarah Paulson. I mean, I think that this is probably Sarah Paulson's best role that she's ever done. The amount of emotion and just the fact that she plays this like psycho mom, she just nails it too. So there's a lot of really great set pieces. The whole thing with the main character of Chloe is that she's sort of a budding engineer. Like, so she's always tinkering with things and crafting like different devices and mechanical things. So that plays heavily into some of the set pieces where she figures out ways to essentially escape from her mom after she figures out what's going on. She's very bright too. This isn't a situation where she like sees something strange but then like shrugs it off. Like as soon as she sees the first sign of something not right, she immediately dives into it and like never gives her mom the benefit of the doubt. Like she's just instantly is like, okay, well, clearly my mom's trying to poison me. I got to get out of here. So it's she always makes the right decisions, and I found that so refreshing in a movie like this, because when you're 17, like you're inherently suspicious of your parents. Like that's just how it is. And
Yeah.
the fact that she so immediately was just like, I got to get out of here. I got to get help. And then there's another great scene with like a postman. I'm not going to give it away, but Pat Healy plays this mailman, and like he makes the right decisions too. Like you think that it's going to go one way because every other thriller ever goes this way, and it doesn't. It goes a different way. The big sort of thing that brings it down is the fact that so much of this movie happens at the convenience of the plot. Like there's a scene where she finds this box full of evidence and causes all of these like revelations, and it's like, why would that box be sitting out just for her to, there's a lot of things that happen in this movie that are just so convenient. And it's a very predictable movie too. I said that it does a lot to go against sort of thriller tropes, but the overall like arc, like you just know where it's all going. And I predicted the end, like the final scene, I predicted it like very early on. So yes, it is very predictable, and there are a lot of sort of almost expository things that happen in it that are unfortunate, but I think that it's still well worth a look. And I had a really good time with it despite those sort of small gripes. I have a full review for this up on the site too, a written review.
Okay. All right.
Again, that's called Run. It comes out November 20th.
Okay. All right. I watched Wes Craven's debut, 1972's The Last House on the Left.
Oof. Oh boy.
Yeah,
This
this is a rough one.
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is a real tough one.
It is a tough one, but there's also like it wasn't as bad. Like the subject matter is terrible and disgusting, and it's just, I mean, it's depraved. It's a depraved movie. But the actual like on screen, like what you're shown, is somewhat tame. Like a lot of it is not shown at
Right.
all.
Compared to something
Which is
like I Spit on Your Grave, like this is done in a more respectful way, slightly.
Yeah, you just like they let you know what's happening or going to happen. They don't show it, but you know that it happened. It's that type of thing. And like the violence is, it's 1972, so it's not like it looks realistic or anything. It's just kind of just kind of low budget, what we're dealing with here. But overall, I thought I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And I think that much of that comes from the fact that it's not like overly like the on-screen violence and stuff isn't overwhelming. So I was able to, I guess, enjoy it more. And enjoy is like the worst word for what I'm
I
going
know what you
for
mean,
here.
though. I know what you mean.
Uh, Filmmaking aspect of it, I enjoyed like the look of it, the grittiness of it, the characters themselves. I thought all of that worked. I think it kind of captures this bizarre point in America where you have those kind of like the same thing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you have this confluence of like the hippie generation and like just all out crime, just kind of converging together, and everyone was just terrified at that. Like it seemed like
Hmm.
every single white family in suburbia or like out in the sticks or whatever, it's just terrified of cities and just people. Like everyone's gonna die and be murdered. People are gonna break into your house. So it kind of course, plays into that. And then everyone just becomes a killer,
Yeah.
which I did not see that. I did not see that coming. Would where this movie goes towards the end?
Mm.
That was kind of surprising. I did not see that coming at all, really. And
Yeah.
which is weird because it kind of turns into like this Home Alone type situation, which I did not know. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. Didn't he?
With
You
the
didn't
movie.
know that Home Alone was inspired by Last House on the Left from 1972?
Well, this is another thing too, where I don't know why, but Last House on the Left, I went into it absolutely cold. Number one, I didn't know that it was Wes Craven's debut. Number two, I didn't know what this movie was about. I just knew that it was kind of, a classic, as they say. And judging from the title, which is really the only thing I knew about this movie, I thought it was a haunted house movie. So again, I don't know how to fucking watch movies.
You,
Like I was really confused.
Well, you must have been in for a shock with this one.
Well, I mean, the thing is that's cleared up pretty quickly. So I was like, okay, I can rearrange my expectations here. I was like, okay, this is not a haunted house movie.
I do recommend checking out Last House on the Left. I think it is a horror classic. I think it definitely constitutes as one of the classics.
Yeah, it's an interesting movie, especially filmmaking wise too.
All right. I saw kind of an interesting one, although I wouldn't classify it as any kind of classic by any stretch. It's called Dinner in America. This was another Night Stream movie. This also played at Fantasia Fest, and I wanted to see it back when we were covering that. I just didn't have the time to fit it in. This is directed by Adam Raymeyer. It's a sort of an unconventional love story. It's about this punk rocker played by Kyle Gallner, and he is kind of on the lam. He's wanted for setting fire to someone's house, and he ends up hiding out with this young woman played by Emily Skeggs, and it turns out that like she's completely obsessed with him. He's in a band, and the thing is, like, he kind of conceals his identity when he's on stage, so nobody really knows what he looks like or his real name. So she doesn't really know that it's him, that he's the guy that she's obsessed with, and the two sort of fall for each other, and it's a really kind of a strange dark comedy. There's this like sort of undeniable charm about it. It's a very abrasive movie. It's sort of going like full on, like full force pretty much the whole time. It's a very loud, intense movie. I really like the music in it too. It's got this really cool, I believe it's an original score, but really good music. And I don't know, there's just something about this movie that I really liked. I didn't know it was a love story going into it, but I had a really good time with it. I can see this as being a movie that a lot of people are going to be a lot of people are going to be just too uncomfortable with, or just not gonna, it's not gonna work for them. But for me, I just was sort of taken with these characters, as odd as they are. Again, that's called Dinner in America, and definitely recommend checking it out. I couldn't really place the time period that this took place in. I think it's the 90s, judging from the lack of technology, the clothes, and the way that the cars looked. I believe that it takes place in the 90s, but I couldn't be sure.
Yeah, sure. I rewatched the Mothman Prophecies.
Oh man,
Love me some fucking Mothman. I love Mothman.
there's a new Mothman movie coming out.
For real?
It's called The Mothman Legacy.
Oh man, what? Who's making that? Give me all the information. Give me all the.
Apparently, it's the final entry in a trilogy.
What the fuck?
So, yeah.
Oh, I got a lot of. Oh wait, is it a documentary?
It's a documentary. I think it's a documentary.
Oh man, a trilogy documentary. Oh, I got a lot of Mothman stuff to catch up on. That's pretty great. Well, Mark Pellington's movie from 2002 with Richard Gere and Deborah Messing, Laura Linney, Will Patton. That's not that good.
No.
There's a part of me that enjoys it because it's Mothman. So, of course, I enjoy it. But this really, and even more so because I started, rewatching all the X-Files, this just feels like a knockoff X-Files episode. That's all it feels like to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But with worse people in the role. Instead of Fox Mulder, you're stuck with Richard Gere, which, no thank you. I don't know what it is. I just don't like Richard Gere. And I don't understand how he was like such a thing, why he was such a big thing. Like, he has no personality to me. Like, to me, he just has like no charm, no charisma. Like, he's just a manila folder.
I think he's good looking, and that helped his career.
I know, but it's just like, was there like a dearth of good looking men that you could find one with like a little bit of charisma? Just a touch. I don't know, maybe that's just him as an actor. Because he's not really a good actor. All of his characters are the same.
I like that one he was in Arbitrage. I think he was good in that.
Yeah, but he's like the same guy though.
Yeah.
It's just, he's like always the same guy. I would go through his filmography in order to see like if he did anything like kind of out there or different, but I couldn't do that to myself. I'd fall asleep immediately.
I don't think he really has done anything crazy different.
I feel like there's something hidden in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's some movie that he just turned in a spectacular performance, and no one liked it back at the time, and now it's just lost in the sands of time.
Maybe.
Fucking Mothman Prophecies. Watch it if you're really into Mothman, because it'll give you some good Mothman stuff.
Yeah.
It's just you got to deal with Richard Gere too, which is unfortunate.
Well, segueing from insects, the last one that I'll mention is Mandibles. This is directed by Quentin Dupieux. I imagine that we're going to be talking about this at some point.
You're damn right.
At some point, in a full review capacity, because we tend to always review the Dupieux stuff, because I frankly think that he's one of the most creative and unique directors working today. I think that this movie is no exception. It continues that trend. It's about these two dudes who steal a car, and in the trunk of the car they find a giant fly, and they decide that they're going to train this fly, and they're going to use this fly to earn them money. Now, what transpires is, I don't even know how to describe Mandibles. I just don't. I mean, more than what I just said. I don't know how to further get into this movie. First I'll say, like, the two guys in it are so funny. It's sort of like the dude. The main guy reminds me of the dude. Like, he's that type of character. Or Harry, what's his name? Harry Dunn and Lloyd Christmas from Dumb and Dumber.
Okay.
Or Bill and Ted. Like that. Those types of characters. They do this really funny thing. Maybe I don't want to give it away, but they do this one thing like all the time, and it's just so funny. The only thing that I'll say about it, first of all, I pretty much loved it overall, but it's only 77 minutes long. This movie is so short that by the end, I'm like, is that it? That's all we're doing, huh? That's it. That's all you're giving us. It needed an entire final act. Like, this movie doesn't feel done. Like, it's just it just ends, and you're just like, that's it. Come on, like, give me more here. Like, the premise is so good, but what happens? You're just like, I need more out of this movie. So that's my biggest gripe with it, is that it is far too short. That what you have here is good, but Dupieux needed to expand on it, because what we're left with is like a movie that just doesn't feel like it was finished. But The Fly is incredible. I loved The Fly. Her name's Dominique.
Yes.
And I love the poster too. I mean, that poster, I didn't see the poster until last night after I watched the movie, and I was just like, that's the most amazing poster. But I mean, this is, Dupieux just released Deerskin this year. That Deerskin came out earlier this year, and this guy is just cranking them out, and they're all just he's just getting better and better. Now, to be clear, I didn't think that this was better than Deerskin, but I would also say that this is his most accessible movie to date. Even though the premise is pretty wild, it's a very accessible comedy. Like, this isn't this.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't go like off the rails. So
I can't wait. I'm so goddamn excited.
Yeah, we'll talk about Mandibles more when it gets a proper release. Hopefully, soon. All right, let's take a look at what we have on VOD this week. Tuesday, today, we have The Second Son. We have The More You Ignore Me. There's a Is it a comedy? Yeah, it looks like a comedy. A story about love, family, and Morrissey. So, there you have it, Morrissey.
Yep.
It's a shame that he went on nutty.
So many people have been doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I still like the Smiths, but you can't help but think about that when you listen to them.
Oh, yeah.
And we have Monster Force Zero. Is there a tagline on this? Nope, no tagline. Damn. We have The Dance. We have When the Summer Fades. Bane, Holding These Moments. A rock doc about the hardcore band Bane.
Oh, it was about the villain.
A documentary about Bane's life. In Case of Emergency, that's a documentary about, I believe, nurses. Maybe it's just about ERs. Could just be about ERs. We have that one's on the 14th, and then on the 15th we have Bullets of Justice.
Yes.
Starring Danny Trejo. The tagline for this one is "Oink Oink, Motherfucker." In the post-apocalyptic aftermath of World War III, an army of half-human, half-pig super soldiers takes over the world. It is up to a group of human rebels to destroy them and liberate humankind. Oink oink, motherfucker. Then on the 16th, we have Monochrome, the Chromism. The world in color for the first time. Monochrome. Chromism. We have Shithouse. It is a comedy. We have the opening act. It's another comedy about stand-up.
Thank goodness.
There's some good people in this, so I don't know. We got Love and Monsters. The Devil Has a Name. Got a lot of people in that one. About oil drilling.
Oh.
David Strathairn is in there. He's like a farmer who, like, they start drilling for oil next to his farm, and it starts ruining his crops and stuff. Based on a true story.
Flame water.
Yeah. Got Don't Look Back from the creator of Final Destination. White Riot. This is a documentary about the Rock Against Racism concert, which was like known as the punk rock Woodstock in England.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll probably check that out because it seems like something that I would watch. Martin Eden, that's going to be a virtual theatrical release. We have She is the Ocean. A woman is like the ocean, a true force of nature.
Oh, okay.
There you have that. That's about it for VOD. Let's take a look at what we have on Blu-ray. There's the Friday the 13th collection. This is a big box set, 12 movies. All of the Friday the 13th titles are included in this one, including the remake, which was the latest one. I can't remember when that remake came out. 2009, I think.
I'm trying to find the original.
1,306 minutes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wowza.
This is a really compelling box set. Like I love Friday the 13th, so I might have to pick that up. I've been waiting for like a huge box set that has all of them for a while.
Yeah. Well, here you go. Here's your moment.
Yeah. Requiem for a Dream 4K is coming out, as is District 9. We have Deep Star 6 from 1989, The Pledge from 2001, Terror in the Isles from 1984, Motel Hell from 1980. That looks like some kind of steelbook edition that's coming out. Yep, it's a 4K remaster. It comes in a steelbook. Let's see. Warning from Space from 1956. That's an Arrow release. Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist from 2005. Remember there was like that whole thing was really strange. The Exorcist prequel, how there were two of them. Remember that?
No.
Yeah, there's
I don't remember that shit.
Yeah, there was some like weirdness with the Exorcist sequel. Like Paul Schrader did this one and like they didn't like it, so they like redid it. Very strange. It looks like the Friday the 13th movies are also being released individually. So if there's just like one of them you want, looks like you can pick them up individually as well.
Okay.
Happy, Joy, the Ren and Stimpy story. That's a documentary, obviously, about Ren and Stimpy. That's on Amazon for rent. Let's see. That's about all I see for this week. What about Criterion's?
Oh, we got one, and it's a biggie, and it's Claudine from 1974. John Barry. I'm very excited for this to be in Criterion.
Didn't you just talk about this like not too long ago?
Not too long ago, yeah. That's because, like, for the longest time, you couldn't really watch this movie. There was like one DVD that was like okay quality, and then I finally, because I was waiting for some sort of restoration to happen or for it to show up on streaming, never happened. So I finally just bought the low quality DVD, and then it was like a week later, Criterion announced that they're going to be putting it out. I was like, of course they are.
So that's why.
That's why.
Okay, all right. I forgot to mention that Mallrats is coming out. That's going to be another Arrow release. So Arrow's releasing 1995's Mallrats.
Okay.
I stand by Mallrats. I still like that movie. I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a moment, please consider giving us a review on iTunes. That would be very helpful. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name is Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.